Welcome in, fresh from the Bama Breeze in the nation's capital. It's Turgeon Wakefield, which means it's Laker Connections right here on WTOP10. I'm Thomas Turgeon, joined by Jared Wakefield, fresh from D.C. Jared, we're back from spring break, and it's good to be back.
Yes, we're back from spring break. Some of us went to warmer places. Some of us went to, you could call it warm by Oswego standards, a little mild, but still a good trip to D.C. And Laker sports didn't stop. Thomas, we'll get right into it this week in Laker sports. A whole lot going on. All four spring sports getting into action over the past month.
All four sports will be in action this past week as well as this upcoming week, but we'll go to the past and we'll start things off at the turf with some women's lacrosse, who has been in action quite a bit since we last came to air. Oswego having won 5 of their last 6 games, including most recently their first win against Nazareth since 1995 last night by a score of 14-7. Jared, this team is on the right track heading into SUNYAC play this weekend and started off with a good win on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty huge set so far for this women's lacrosse team. I mean, they have played extremely well. No surprises, Sela Wiley leading the team in points overall, 34 points, 21 goals, 13 assists. But as we were talking before the show, kind of the surprise story right now on this women's lacrosse team, Madison Davis and Isabella Lumbo, both, last year we saw Shane McConnell and Julia Quirk really locked into that 2 and 3 spot. But Davis and Lumbo doing a lot of work this year. Maddie Davis, 15 goals, 16 assists, pass first, 31 points. Lumbo not pass first. She's been scoring, pulled off a hat trick this past weekend against Nazareth. 19 goals. That's all you really need to say. Second in goals on the team behind Wiley, so the Lakers dominating offensively, and Kamai doing just enough in that to keep the Lakers in.
And she's had a few spans where she's had multi-goal games and hasn't not gone a game without a goal. So that's been huge for Lembo so far this season. Not to mention, you look at this women's lacrosse team, one difference compared to last season, they have 3 goaltenders to work with this year. You have Kamai, you have Nicole Ahern, and then you have Elena Erikovsky. So in reality, you have a lot of options to choose from on your offense, on your defense, and even in between the pipes as well.
That's very true. Although though they do have options, I see it tough as this team going away from Sarah Kamai. She's been very good this year. 6.51 goals against, 5.54 save percentage, pretty good by lacrosse standards. So Kamai playing really well and looking at free positions. I mean, opposition only 25% on those free position shots. Oswego over 50%.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at this team overall, they've done very well. But on the other hand, the men's lacrosse team, a little bit of a different story, Jared.
It's been an interesting one to start off the year for the Oswego State men's lacrosse team. They took a win in their only game of the week. However, that wasn't supposed to be the only game. A matchup against Stockton University on the road, slated for Saturday, was canceled. Corey O'Connor and Max Brodman netted a pair apiece in a win over Utica University, while Jack Delaney tallied a goal and 2 assists. Turge, a big victory for the Lakers over the Utica Pioneers, helping to right the ship a little bit.
Yeah, it was what kind of we expected out of this team. They beat Utica last year. They did the exact same thing this year. Offense struggling a little bit so far. Gavin Elston, 7 goals so far in those 4 games, so he's done very well. The one question mark is, though, who's going to be that secondary scoring? Last year we saw a couple people. We saw Elston, we saw Weston Gray, we saw Ryan Eccles now on the team this year. So who's going to be that one to really fill in that spot? On the other hand, Aiden Kenyon in between the pipes again this year. The senior has done very well for them. But it's a new coach. You have Andrew Daly coming in, and the 3rd new coach in 3 years since the pandemic. A lot of different systems being implemented over the years, from Drew Bezek to Sean Eccles to now Andrew Daly. So a lot of changes with this team moving forward.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very difficult to establish a strong team that's going to compete year in and year out when you have a head coaching carousel. It looked like last year Sean Eccles might have been around to stay with his brother Ryan on the team as well. They're both gone now, so effectively a brand new start for this men's lacrosse team. And the 3rd one after the pandemic, it's almost like the pandemic's lingered for them a little bit. But, I mean, Gavin Elston, 10 points this year. Corey O'Connor with 7. They're finding it, and they're getting shots on. Elston, 41 shots this year, and the goaltending's been solid, 548. Not bad from Kenyans on the save percentage side, but we'll just have to see what happens as they get into SUNYAC play.
We'll have to see what happens. And before another team gets into SUNYAC play, baseball had an eventful time, but they were a little bit someplace warmer as we take a trip down to the Sunshine State, where the baseball team was also in action over spring break with numerous contests throughout the week. The team opened up against William Peace with a loss before stringing together 4 straight wins and then kept off the trip with 2 more losses. Not to sense a trend, Jared, but this team has not really showed up early in the season, and they seem to be missing a few key nuts and bolts moving into SUNYAC play.
Yeah, I would say so. And, part of that, Thomas, is just, they've lost so many seniors. You lose Paul Tamara, Ryan Enos, Kyle Loria, all top-tier D3 baseball players. Two of them, Enos and Tamaro, go D1 for their grad year. So that tells you about the talent that was on the team last year. They both hit around 400, 500, and they both hit for some power. And this year they haven't had that Owen Parliament, the transfer in from Binghamton. He's been good, a 341 average, 3 home runs so far this year, slugging 695 and on base 48%. That's pretty good. That would have put him about third or fourth on last year's team, but then everybody from there in the 200 range and not slugging very well. A lot of contact hitting, which isn't a bad thing, but got to hit the ball pretty hard here to get over some of these high-ranked Florida teams.
Not to mention you also are losing a couple key minds on the pitching side. You have Kieran Finnegan, who is really good, and you mentioned Enos, Weiss, Tamaro, Olson. The list goes on and on. They really lost a lot of key guys with this team last year that made a solid run, and they've got big tests going ahead into Cortland, which we'll touch up on a little bit later. But you look at Owen Parliament. He came in early as a transfer from Binghamton late last semester. I think he's really going to be key for this team moving forward.
Absolutely, and another problem for the Lakers as well, as you mentioned, that pitching. That pitching has been an issue. 2 of their pitchers over 10 innings have ERAs over 5. Jacob Sanders at 6.8, and then Thomas Pecchia, who we saw quite a lot last year, 10 innings, and he has not fared very well, about 8 earned runs. And we saw this hurt that team last year. We'll see if they can turn pitching around this year. However, Oswego State softball was also dancing on the diamond, achieving about every possible outcome this past week. They lost 12-4 to LaSalle and 2-7 to Carleton College. But then earlier this week, they beat the winless RIT 6-5 and then tied RIT in a shutout game, goose egg to goose egg. Fiona Higgins fired a complete game in the first matchup against RIT to take the win. Maria Lutz battled back from a loss against Carleton to pitch a complete game shutout. Thomas, a positive note for softball against RIT, but much like baseball, they have been up and down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like a roller coaster in a way, but one person that's really been carrying the way for this team has been Madison Hoflich. I mean, you look at first on the team in batting average, third on the team in slugging percentage, first on the team in hits, and first on the team in on-base percentage. Those are a lot of good numbers for her. She's been rather solid over the last few seasons, not even just last season alone, but she really has been a staple for this team. You look at a girl like Christina Kanya coming in. She's been doing rather solid on the batting side. Fiona Higgins as well. I mean, Madison Finney, a .414 batting average, so that's not bad either going in terms of this team, but it seems like it's almost been an A and B type of style. When their pitching's been good, their hitting really hasn't been as good, and vice versa. When their hitting's been good, their defensive side has not been as solid.
Yeah, and that's going to be difficult as well. Another thing this team is doing, they're leaving players on base. 83 players left on base, about 20 more than their opponents so far this year. But that's all that happened this past week in Laker sports, Thomas.
It's all that happened, but we've got much more as we're going to take a pause for the cause. When we come back, it's the week ahead right here on W2P10. Stay tuned.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill
Should
told
we
me it
tell
was
him?
Kitty from Glee. Yeah. What is it?
Al Roker.
Welcome back to Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10. Jerry Wakefield and Thomas Sturgeon here with you. Well, we've done our rewind, but we're going to rip the rear view mirror off and throw that out the window as it's all out the windshield from here. Thomas, let's take a look at the week ahead for Oswego State.
Well, you mentioned a car reference, and we'll start on a road trip as we're going down to Brockport to start our week ahead with some men's lacrosse action taking place as head coach Andrew Daly will have his squad opening up SUNYAC play on the road against the Brockport Golden Eagles. Oswego last season was edged at home by a score of 13-12, and currently both teams have had a tough start, to say the least, with Brockport starting the season 2-5. Jared, your thoughts going into SUNYAC play? A good starting opponent for the Oswego State Lakers.
Absolutely. Brockport, I think, is a team that this team could probably, give a good challenge to, but also Brockport, one of those schools that we think of, especially in the fall and spring sports realm. It's one of those powerhouse schools, a lot like Cortland, who we'll talk about a little bit later in this broadcast, but Brockport always really good on the turf or on the diamond. Men's lacrosse team, no exception. They've been pretty solid the past couple years. Not quite a super top-level program, but they've been able to compete with a lot of teams up and down the SUNYAC. A tough start for them, but obviously for them, they know that they beat Oswego in their one and only meeting last year. So they'll march into Tuttle over at Brockport. I'm getting my roads mixed up a little bit here. But they'll march into their home turf expecting a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at this green and gold battle between Brockport and Oswego over the last few times that they've met, whether it was last season, whether it was the season before, really a competitive matchup between these two teams. They're rather close. Last season was a one-goal game, and a lot of those games last year was really one-goal games. Talking with head coach Andrew Daly, Gavin Elston also said they were really, really close. They were just a couple smidges off from being where they want to be in terms of a team, in terms of standings, and then moving forward as a program.
Absolutely. And, for Oswego, huge opportunity for them to try and find a little bit more of that goal scoring. They're going to need it against these SUNYAC opponents because, especially these SUNYAC cross games are notorious for being high-scoring games. If they're not going to be able to beat goaltending or just find a way to get good ball movement and move it around, get good in their systems, they're really going to struggle in the SUNYAC this year. So a huge game coming up for men's lacrosse. But let's move over to women's lacrosse as they will seek to keep their hot streak rolling as they take on the New Paltz Hawks and the Fredonia Blue Devils. These are, like men's lacrosse, the first SUNYAC matchups of the year for the Lakers. Oswego beat both of these teams in the final SUNYAC standings last year. Oswego finished 5-4 in conference. Thomas, with how much the Lakers are scoring, this needs to be a pair of wins because Oswego could be in the talk for a SUNYAC chip chase at this point.
I kind of agree with it. I don't say it's completely a SUNYAC chip chase, but I do agree. This team has had a lot of offense to start the year. And Fredonia and New Paltz have been two teams where Oswego has had their number in the last few times. But you also have a lot of that offense that we talked about earlier in the show with Lembo, with Wiley, McConnell, Fierro, Quirk, Davis. The list goes on and on and on. You have a lot of offense, but the thing is you got to keep the ball out of your own net. I mean, Kamada's done a very good job. That game against Nazareth, they played really chippy. And that game against Clarkson, the thing is, on their home turf, they kind of started off rather flat, being down 7-1 against Clarkson early. They really just couldn't get the comeback going. So I think this team's got a lot to work on.
I do think they've got a lot to work on, but something that is a positive note for me is that they're down on turnovers this year. They've got 100 turnovers so far this year. Opponents have 134. They're doing well on getting ground balls. Sheila Wiley with 41 ground ball pickups this year. 145 total for the team. That's 42 more than their opponents. So basically, in layman's terms, they're playing pretty good defense, and when things get a little chaotic, they've been coming out the victor overall. So it'll be interesting to see if women's lacrosse can keep the hot streak going.
Two huge games early in the season against two opponents that they rather should probably get the better hand of.
They should.
We'll take a little bye-bye to lacrosse, and we'll send things over to the Diamond now, where the softball schedule seems rather light this week, as they only have a doubleheader set for next Tuesday against Houghton. The Lakers softball team currently has not had the start they intended while down in Florida, but look to turn it around with their first game on their home field this season. Jared, a non-conference opponent yet again for the Lakers. However, one of the people that has been influential for those non-conference games has been Fiona Higgins, and she's going to have to be really good in that doubleheader.
Yeah, she's absolutely going to have to be. I mean, Fiona Higgins is by far easily the ace on this program. 54 strikeouts on the year so far, 4.42 ERA through 31 innings of work. Batting average against of 228. So not a bad batting against average, but she's been hit pretty hard against when she's been hit off of 6 doubles, 3 triples, and 2 home runs. It'll be interesting to see if we see Maria Lutz get some work, a 3.84 ERA through 27 innings of work. She's given up more hits but less earned runs, left more runners stranded out on the base path. So Thomas, I think it's really going to come down to pitching. I think the team's offenses are. When you have 2 hitters hitting over 400 and then 5 hitters that are over 300, the offense is there. It's just going to be if the pitching and the defense can keep some balls in the park.
The defense has really been needing to work on, but on the other hand, I mean, Fiona Higgins, also 6 RBIs to look forward to going into this matchup, so it should be a good one nonetheless.
Absolutely. Looking forward to see what softball can do this weekend. We'll move over to the other diamond now, where Oswego baseball looks to get back to the 500 mark this week as they face the rival Cortland Red Dragons and host their home opener against SUNY Cobleskill. The Lakers will look for key wins in that triple-header against Cortland, ranked 19th best in the nation. Thomas, these are 5 big games for the Lakers to try and get a win after a pretty subpar start to the season based on their last few efforts.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. And you look at this Cortland team so far, their batting average a little higher than Oswego. RBI's clearly higher than Oswego, and the ERA has been a little bit higher than Oswego, which isn't the most ideal stat line in the whole scenario for Cortland. But either way, they have a winning record, and Oswego does not right now. So it's a really good team going out of the hop. The Red Dragons are 19th in the nation for a reason. A really good baseball program out of the SUNYAC. Many good baseball programs coming out of the SUNYAC out of the past few years. So definitely a big test for the Lakers to open up the season. And then you got Cobleskill, which isn't a cakewalk either.
Absolutely not. It's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do here. If there's one advantage I feel like baseball has over softball, you know, they've got 5 players that have pitched so far this year on the roster. It's not as hard on your arm, so that's different. Baseball has a lot of options to go to on the mound. So while they've had their struggles pitching this year, relatively speaking, if one option isn't working, I mean, they've got more than double-digit options to go to. Someone's going to get hot at the right time, and the Lakers will be able to eventually shore up that 3-4-man rotation and a good 3-4 options in the bullpen, and then a couple backup options pending injuries or tiredness. You know, a lot of games that baseball plays this year. 5 games this week, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Cortland's had a lot of good pitchers and a lot of good offense over the last few years, but we'll take a break from that. When we come back, it's the final edition of the Wheelhouse Wire coming up next on W2 Kentucky.
Welcome back to Major Discussions.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hey there, I'm Al Roker, class of 76. Yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling. You're watching WTOP.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. And Jared, last time we chatted here at the desk, there was some men's hockey in the near future, but now the past is the past. We got the result. Not the result that we really wanted, but why don't you give us a little bit more detail on what happened down at the Deb a few weeks ago?
Well, Terps, the SUNYAC Championship ran through Oswego, and the hockey season ended with us together in the press box earlier this month. The Plattsburgh Cardinals may have lost the whiteout battle in November, but they won the war with a thrilling 2-1 victory over the Lakers. Tommy Cahill scored late in the third to make it a 1-goal game, but Thomas, it wasn't enough in a game that was full of chances for Oswego.
Yeah, and this is a completely crazy game to talk about. Plattsburgh opened the door early. Adam Trebwitz getting the first goal, and then Carson Gallagher getting the final dagger. I mean, Cahill got the goal late in the third period, but Eli Schiller was just fantastic.
Eli Schiller, really the breakout story of the SUNYAC this year, a dynamic freshman goaltender that arguably helped take the Cardinals from a 4th, 5th place team last year that made it into the playoffs and then got upset by Brockport into a team that went all the way, went to the NCAA tournament and got thumped by Norwich at home in a thrilling game there. Norwich moving on, Frozen Four set for NCAA D3 action over in Endicott coming up, so we'll see what happens there. But for Oswego and Plattsburgh, a thrilling game that lived up to expectations. Fans on both sides nice and happy, getting a little chippy in the barn even before players got on the ice for warm-ups. Just a great hockey atmosphere to end the year.
Overall, a great atmosphere to end the year. And 3 teams now, you're looking at Geneseo, Oswego, Plattsburgh, really to spark a rivalry for years to come. And with another season that comes to a close, it means a group of the team have played their last games in the green and gold sweaters, being the class of 2023. The Lakers are losing 6 seniors this year, including all 3 of their captains. What can we expect out of the early points? A Lakers squad looking towards next season. Whoever wrote that, I hope that they had fun in messing me up.
Aha, yes, Turge. I wonder who that could have been. So let's take a look at the seniors that are going to be headed on their way out. We've got Troy Robillard. He's on his way out, plus 14 this year, 8 points. Troy Robillard, a real defenseman for the program. Quinn Warmoth, he's going to be coming back next year, taking a 5th year, so he will shore up that blue line and get some top minutes for sure next year. Tommy Cahill on his way out, the transfer from King's College, dynamite in the past 2 seasons for Oswego, really broke out at the D3 level. Thomas Rocco, St. Cloud State, the school he transferred from won today. So Rocco's not done with hockey. He'll be back next year as well. Garrett Clegg already off to Sweden to play in D2, just below the SHL there. So Clegg going to get some top minutes there. Alex DiCarlo already on his way down to Roanoke with the Rail Yard Dogs. Eric Green, believe his college career is over, his hockey career is over. Ryan Bunka may be the same as well after his 5th year.
Yeah, it was definitely a very big weekend, big season for the Lakers. They struggled a little bit here and there, but we obviously wish them all the best in their future endeavors. But that will do it for the final edition of the Wheelhouse Wire. When we come back, Mr. T comes to sit down with us and have a little chat right here on Laker Connections. We'll be right back.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Shine on that black.
Look at the bling. Look at do we got a diamond tester on?
Yeah, that's getting bad. Yep. 10 out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
Score going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Welcome back to the only show covering Laker sports here on WTOP 10. I'm Tommy Tellerino. It's time for the fan favorite segment, Laker Showdown. These 2 gentlemen will duel back and forth with the might of Zeus to see who has the superior knowledge in Laker sports. You boys ready?
I'm ready.
Already 0-1.
Let's get this show on the road. starting things off on the diamond, the baseball team just finished their Florida trip over spring break and will head into SUNYAC play tomorrow night. Last year, they were able to finish first in the SUNYAC during the regular season, but couldn't pull it off in the championship. Guys, how do you think this season is going to go? Do you think we can go back-to-back or not? I'll have Jared start this one. I usually let you start. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
You know, obviously I want the best for the baseball team and everything, but right now I don't think this is a team that makes the SUNYAC championship. I think right now, I think they can make the playoffs. I think they could, make the playoffs and have some level of run. But right now I don't think they make the championships. And honestly, I don't even think it's the pitching. When you got 4 pitchers below a 3 ERA, you're doing okay. You can work with that. And other pitchers that are able to put in a lot of length, with Finnegan and Danielek obviously having about 30 innings together and being below 2, that's pretty good. But they need hitting. They only have one player above 300. You got to get some more hitting.
I disagree. I think they have a chance, but they need, like you said, they do need a little bit of hitting. But on the other hand, if the hitting's not as good, your pitching can win you a game. Your pitching can steal you a game, and that's what you need out of this team. You need a couple of those games at Cortland, at Brockport, 2 of those teams that have really been a tough test for you. You need that defense in the field, in your pitching. Your batting will come with time. It's also very, very early in the year. They're opening up their SUNYAC, so on the other hand, it's a little tough to say, but I think you got a lot of optimism with this team going in.
I mean, the scores have been all high.
I'm glad that you've brought up pitching because I believe pitching is one of the most important things in baseball. If the pitching stays like that, I think I got to go with Turge on this one. Because the hitting, I think, is easier to fix. When you got shaky bullpens, it's very hard. And shaky starting pitching, even worse. Just look at the Mets every year. They always break down. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I accept. I accept it.
Picking things up on Lakers turf for this one. The women's lacrosse team's on a roll right now, 5-2 record. They have played all their games out of conference so far and look to make an impact in SUNYAC play for the rest of the season. Guys, how important are these early season wins for this team out of the conference?
I think it's huge. I mean, you look at this team last year. They started off the year, I want to say 1-6, and then after that, you opened up your SUNYAC play, and you didn't really have your mojo going. Your goaltender was different. You had some systems that weren't really working, and you were relying mainly on 2 people. Now you're looking at more close to 5-6. But overall, I think it's huge. I mean, you open up this weekend against 2 opponents that it's going to be a close game regardless. It's not going to be a team like Geneseo or Cortland who's really had the better hand of your program over the last 5-6 years. But I think it's going to be crucial for this team moving forward.
I think they're big. You can't understate the importance of winning really early in the season, because when you win early in the season, obviously, as you said, it builds your mojo. But I think there's still some things that the women's lacrosse team can improve on. I mean, we saw in that Nazareth game before they pulled out to 14-7 late and really put on the afterburners. There were some pretty defensively shaky moments and probably a couple goals that weren't Sarah Kamide's fault that probably shouldn't have gone in. But Britt Howard's done a good job with the team so far. So I have confidence in it, but you can almost put those games in the rearview mirror and kind of treat those as like a nice tune-up for the SUNYAC play. These are the 2 games. This is where your season starts.
I'm going to be honest. I agree with both of you. I think I got to give you guys a tie on that one. I really do. You guys, both made great points.
So I can only tie.
Yeah, no, you can only tie at this point. I'm sorry. Yeah. But, I mean, you guys both made great points. You guys kind of both talked about momentum. I can't give you guys I can't give you guys both an advantage. But last question. You guys both like hockey, so we're losing all the captains. Who do you guys think will be captains next year?
Oh, wow. Jared's got to start off here.
Okay, this is a really tough one because, you look at this roster and Ed Gosick and John Whitelaw really try to bring in guys that are role models. They are role models on this team. I think one of your alternates could be Daniel Calabufo. He's come into this team. He's had a really big impact, good things in the locker room so far. Right now, honestly, I feel like you could see Shane Bull or Tyler Flack being in those roles. Tyler Flack, a real level-headed guy, very smart on the ice, makes smart decisions, calm, cool, collected. I could see him being a leader.
I'm at a loss for words because you literally took both of mine, so that's cool. But either way, I'm going to go with a curveball, and I'm going to go Ryan Dickinson. He's the lighthearted guy in the room. I feel like he keeps everyone in check. He kind of leads by example on the defensive end. He's been really strong on the defensive core, so I'm going to go with Ryan Dickinson, even though Jared took my 1 and 1A, so it's cool.
I feel like he gets an A in the Robillard role.
Probably.
So, you guys, he did take your answer, so I'm going to have to give it to Jared.
Bravo.
But you guys missed the dark horse. I was going Merrick Patowski, I'm not going to lie, for Oswego captain.
I saw those backwards crossovers when I went skating with him last time, and I think he's getting ready to come out of retirement.
It's prime time. He might be just back in action for the Lakers next season, so we're going to go away for a week.
What did you just say?